You know, folks, last night, or it's actually early this morning, I wanted to do a response. I was trying to do a response to Dr. Drink's X10. Basically, a couple of years ago, and I think even this year, this past year, he's been doing comparisons between the classic TMNT cartoon series and the 2003 series, and I think just recently maybe he's been doing comparisons with the 2012-13 series. Now, when I listened to this, I thought he did a great job in comparing, basically in the comparison by saying who had the better of, who had the better of, who had the better version of this and that, of this character and that character, or who had the better version of vehicles, story, stuff like that. To me, I listened to this, and again, like I said, he did a great job, but I think he kind of, and he's watching this, I'll probably send a response of, you kind of left out a few things about two certain characters you talked about, and that was Raphael and April. Now, excuse me. Now, I think anybody would agree with you that basically the 2003 versions of both Raphael and April are a little bit better than the 80s to mid-90s version. Yeah. And that's cool. That's cool, But the thing is, just like you and anybody else, we're all going to have a place in our hearts and our minds as fans growing up with the series for the classic Raphael and April from the 80s, 90s series. We are. And here's why. Here's why. Because you see, the big difference between both series, if not similarities, is something happened to April in the 2009 final season, and something happened with Raphael in the Lost Episodes season, the Ninja Tribunal season, that was similar to what happened to him in one episode of the 80s, 90s series when it aired on CBS, as well as similar to kind of what happened to him in the Archie comic books. Now, this is just my opinion as a fan, but when I look at these situations that I'm going to talk about, with Raphael, I look at it as the two situations, or at least the first situation, happened due to the fact that the people working on the classic cartoon still had a bit of connections with Archie and what they were doing with the Adventures comic version of the Turtles. And I'm pretty sure they got word of what was going to happen with Raphael there. You see, with Raphael, what was going to happen is in the comic, and again, I don't know if they'd gotten word of it was going to happen, or if it was about to happen, but the thing was with Raphael is he was going to get a girlfriend from basically the last page of issue 28 all the way up to about issue 71. And her name was Ninjara, Yumiko. Now again, I don't know if in my opinion, I don't know if they heard he was going to get one, or if it was about to happen around that time, I'm not sure. But here's what happened. Instead. But here's what happened to kind of, in my opinion, kind of show that just like with Superman, if you watch the documentary Rebirth and Requiem on the Superman Doomsday Blu-ray and DVD, they pretty much tell you that they had a wedding plan between Lois and Clark for the comic, but so did the Lois and Clark live-action series, and that because of that, and because of that little situation, they couldn't do the wedding in the comic before they did the wedding on the show, so they had to wait. My opinion is with the original TMNT cartoon, they had probably heard of the fact that Raphael was going to get a girlfriend or a love interest in the comics, but that he couldn't get one before maybe CBS, before not CBS, but before the original cartoon series gave him one during it. I think its first or second year, during its first or second year run on CBS. So that's just my opinion. And the girlfriend he got, you mentioned her at the end of your comparison, was Mona Lisa. And she only did appear for one episode, even though there are a lot of fans that are hoping, if not, I guess, petitioning in some ways or something, to get Mona Lisa on the new show as well down the line. But you might say, well, what similarity would that have with Raphael in his 2K version? Well, the Ninja Tribunal season introduced another character that sort of became like a acquaintance, sort of a best friend, sort of respectable colleague, partner. And I guess according to some of the TMNT fan sites and official websites and even some of the official Wikas, this individual was also probably going to become a love interest for him down the line. And the character we're talking about is Joy. Joy, which is spelled J-O-I, came in during the Ninja Tribunal season along with 3 other characters to be partnered up with the Turtles as the 8 acolytes of the Ninja Tribunal. So, anyway, because she had similarities to Raphael and took a liking to his style and vice versa, they became good friends, good acquaintances, had respect, basically, and this was all out of respect that this all developed. But also, from what people have indicated, when you watch later on in the episodes of the Ninja Tribunal season, possibly even more than that. Possibly even more than that. More than just, being friends and all. So, to me, I think that's a comparison, or at least that's part of the comparison I think you could have added in if you wanted to, Dr. Drink. I think that's what you could have added in. Now, as far as April goes, again, always have we as longtime fans will always have a place in our hearts for the original April. But the April in the 2003 series was definitely the April that we came to really get behind because of the fact that she wasn't a damsel in distress, and that she has proven she can kick some booty if needed. But you see, the big difference though that you didn't mention about with April was the fact that, well, big two differences. In the 80s to 90s series, it was never acknowledged that she had a relationship with Casey Jones in the original cartoon series. Never. But unlike in the 2000 series and the live-action movie, well, it was. And the 2007 movie, I should say. But again, there was never no indication of that in the classic cartoon series. But and that was one of the big differences there. But another big difference, if not having a bit of a similarity in Back to the Sewers, was the fact that the big difference between both series was in the classic series, April, on I think 3 different occasions, I believe, ended up getting mutated into a different species, if you will. Of course, the most noteworthy mutation was Catwoman from Channel 6, when she got turned into a cat by accident. And then later on, 2 seasons later, she got turned into a fish woman, and then I think around that same season or so, she got turned temporarily into a wasp queen. Oh, and by the way, when she was a fish woman, she had sonar powers. So, that was one thing that kind of surprised me you didn't talk about, the fact that that kind of difference there, and that we didn't see something like that into at least Back to the Sewers, which was the final season of the 2003 series in 2009, or 2008, 2009. Because in the engagement ring episode, we got exactly what we would have, I'm guessing some fans were hoping to get that we had gotten in the classic series, that they had seen and gotten in the classic series, and that's April being transformed or mutated into a different creature. In this case, a yin-yang kind of monstrous, evil creature, if you will. So, even though it took up to the last season, that was last season for that to happen. I was kind of surprised you didn't really touch on that a bit. I'm kind of also surprised you didn't touch on the fact that she did become the first female turtle in the franchise which took place in a 48-page special of the Archie's TMNT comics. So, I was kind of surprised that you left some things out, but maybe I understand you just want to get it out of the way, get the important stuff out of the way, or what you felt was important. But to me, I think these are important aspects of the series. And then, of course, when you take a look at the 2013 series, we don't know if Raphael is going to get a love interest or not. If someone like Mona Lisa or Ninjar or Joy or somebody's going to show up and sort of be like the love interest for Raphael. We don't know that. We don't know if April, the teenage April, is going to get mutated down the line, if temporarily. We don't know that. We don't know. So, to me, I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of surprised that you left that out a little bit, but I can understand and respect the fact that maybe you felt, in your opinion, that it wasn't really necessary to mention. But like I said, the one thing that a lot of fans, and I've talked about this before, the one thing a lot of fans are hoping to see happen with the 2013 series is at least something similar to those previous seasons, or those previous incarnations. Kind of give Raphael a love interest. Something that's going to soothe his anger. Kind of a female counterpart. And maybe possibly see April, teenage April, if you will, mutated temporarily, some kind of different species. But again, we don't know. We don't know yet if that's going to happen. But my personal opinion, even though I didn't watch the new incarnation from Nickelodeon, I could definitely tell that I think they might be going in that direction in the next season or so. But this is just my reply to your classic TMNT versus new TMNT deal. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Video responses are greatly appreciated. And I will talk to you all later. I'm going to get ready to kind of close up shop around here because I'm going to be going to a Modesto Nuts baseball game later tonight. So comment below, let me know what you guys think, and peace out.